start here with to talk about a incredible guy, a notable guy, a great friend, Joe Ligotti, who passed away this week. Joe's 59 years old. He was known as he became one of these big local huge viral successes on YouTube in Boston as the guy from Boston, the bigger than life Italian kind of cliche bada bing kind of guy.
His accent was, and I'll tell you, he was at our wedding, and I had invited a friend from the Midwest to come to our wedding, and she did, and she could not believe that there was a real life person walking around with that actual accent as their real life actual voice. And she talked about it years later because she couldn't believe it. And he had the biggest personality, the biggest Boston voice you could ever want. She's like, I just can't believe that's really a real person's voice. And I was like, yes, that's truly his voice. That's actually just him.
And as he was a big YouTube guy, I don't know how I found him. I found him because he was Joe was a friend. So we had a show that we did in Boston with Todd Feinberg and Anthony Piccarelli. I think it was Piccarelli. Pick, you're out there. And this is a long time ago. This is the WRKO. And I was the executive producer. In other words, all the producers hated me and nobody respected me, which is essentially what you are if you're the executive producer of the show, of the station. But we had this guy, Anthony Pick, who was co-host with Todd Feinberg for a show called The Taste of Boston Tonight, which was do you remember that? You don't remember.
Mm-mm. I remember the Joe and Huggy show.
Okay, this is RKO, though. So this was A Taste of Boston Tonight, and what it was essentially is we all worked on this. They said, we want to show guys a PM show that we can use and sell the hell out of it to all sorts of clients and all sorts of people. RKO was doing this, Entercom was doing this thing called A Taste of Boston, which brought food vendors together. What they really were trying to do, I think, was capture the lightning in a bottle that Billy Costa was having with his food stuff, and Pat Whitley was having with his food stuff. These are people who've had food shows around here in the Endelmans. Okay, so they were saying all that money.
We need a fun show.
We need a fun show, and we'll make it entertaining. My job was to make it entertaining and make it so that it was all of our job. We collaborated over a weekend, a bunch of days. It's so interesting, Alice, because we were working, all of us collaborating. Me, the Don Draper of the place, whose name was Jim Rushton, sales managers working, and like we'll have these benchmark segments. We'll do this and that. Todd Feinberg, we picked, who was my suggestion to be the host. Todd's a food guy; he can do anything, So it's funny how I'm getting way off track here. I'm so way off track, but this is interesting, and I'm remembering it now. Like, there were the 15 people tasked with coming up with ideas, and it's very interesting because 4 of the 15 people never did any ideas and were essentially just let go. Guys, all you had to do was
just come up with ideas. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, and a couple of them I was going to give on-air jobs to, and we're like, can I? So here's the thing. So anyway, we do the show, the Taste of Boston Tonight, which only lasted a couple of years and then cratered, because it was essentially a food lifestyle show, and we were working with PR people who were just sending their clients through. Right. And it turns out that selling a food show is a lot harder than it seems, so it didn't sell. And all of the same people who were there building the show with the idea, once the program director got fired, all blamed him and said it was a stupid idea. And that was very enlightening for me. But one of the good things that came out of the show was they had a local guy named Joe Ligotti as a guest on a couple of times. Mm-hmm. And Ligotti was over the top, bada bing, Italian guy, and I can expect you better be loyal. But he was big and he loved his food. He was a character.
The chat is saying Tommy in New Hampshire and Charlie said that he sounded like people from Eastie. Reminded me of relatives from Eastie. Sounded just like my
exactly.
friends from
I think
Eastie.
He was from Eastie, right? And like he had
Only the true
he
connoisseur
had a
can
day
tell
job.
the different
I think Joe had a gig like as a Massport guy in the union for the day. But anyway, he did a couple of shows, and I got a kick out of him because he was doing the big, loud Italian guy thing. But he was full of fun and interest, and he was just a great guy. He would check in on everybody, and he was nice to everybody he met.
Well, and can I add something to that too? Because it's sort of, and a lot of people think that people who are good at radio are just people who show up and are big and loud and talk a lot. But not everybody that's big and loud and talks a lot in real life is good at doing what Ligotti did.
Right.
And not everybody, that doesn't translate for anyone. Not everybody makes a good show. And the world is full of people who think if I were on the radio, I'd be so great. Or if this friend of mine were on radio, they'd be so great. And not everyone is, actually.
Right.
And he really was. He was really talented and entertaining.
He was talented, entertaining. He was big. He was so anyway. We had him on. We had heard that he had got all these. He had all these YouTube fans. So it was kind of like a Be a Man guy before Be a Man guy.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was already kind of a thing. And then I was putting him on the air on RKO as much as I could on weekend slots and here and there. And then sales went to Jason Wolf, who was the program director, and said, "Wait, who's this guy I heard Ligotti? It's like bada bing, whatever, like whatever." And Jason Wolf said, like, "Shattuck, who's this guy?" And I said, "Oh, he's a guy. He's great on YouTube." And he said, "I never want to hear him again on my stage." This is unfortunately on Entourage came out at this time, and Jason
so everybody needed to be Ari Gold.
So he said, "Never want to see him here again." And I said, "Sorry, Joe, they're not having you here." And so that was it for Joe. But Joe appreciated that I ever put him on at all. And he was kind of the guy that once you did something like nice for him, that he was not going to forget it. So then I go to 96.9 Boston Talks, WTKK FM station, and Ligotti comes to the station and does the Joe and Huggy show. And I'm sure I said nice things about Joe if they had asked me, because they asked me about a bunch of people coming over, and I said obviously because Joe was a good presence in the hallway, a good presence anywhere. He was just one of those guys who's good. He's a good company guy, like good morale guy. Mm-hmm. So here's a little Joe Ligotti from the time when he was on 96.9. This is him on some show. There's not too many archives out there.
Many of you know Joe was the guy from Boston, and the original one, and not the cheap imitation. And that's all been put to rest, I hope. But Joe, has got his radio show on TKK, on the Joe and Huggy show. Yeah, and actually, Joe had me on as a guest, and looking forward. I actually want to do it again, because this time I'll know that I can talk on there rather than just sit there and listen. Yeah. I didn't realize it was okay to say something, but it was really one of the most
pretty fast though, huh?
Yeah, it was one of the most fun days I've had in a long time, and really I thank you for that. And Huggy was very nice. Huggy was a nice guy.
Let's not go over.
No matter what you say about him,
he sucks.
So, anyways, and Joe is also got a little more. He does spots on the Fox Morning News with VB and a couple of the people there, Cosmo Macero. And he also he does some spots for the Phantom Gourmet. And his newest venture now is on Real Fox, the big Fox Business Network, the Bulls and Bears show with the Average Joes. Right? How often do you do that now?
Once a week. We go on Bulls and Bears, and it's the way the economy is affecting regular people, and I guess I'm as regular as they could find. And here you go.
So, Cavuto loved him. Neil Cavuto loved him and kept having him back on. And most people just liked him. It was just the thing.
I honestly haven't ever heard anybody have a problem with him.
No, I mean in radio, sometimes
everybody's clicky.
Go after each other, but. Here's Joe. This is at 96.9. It's weird to see this studio again. As a matter of fact, this is YouTube. He was a big dancer. Joe was a really big guy, a 400 pounds guy. But he was also like one of these guys. He didn't have fat guy energy. Mm-hmm. He was. He used to be in the 80s a bodybuilder and a bouncer. Like he doesn't come across like affected.
56 degrees, spectacular on Morrissey Boulevard here at 96.9. I hope and pray that you're having a great day out there. And thanks for taking me along. Even though I'm a fat guy, I'm very portable. It's the Joe Ligotti Show. And check out that new smartphone app thing. It's really, really cool. I listen to Brownie in the bathroom. He sounds a lot better.
So here's another thing. Here's a look behind. This is Adam Frederick, another producer at 96.9. Jesus. Look behind the scenes of the Joe Ligotti Show. Joe outside after the show.
Back.
I'm filming behind the scenes stuff.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
This is behind the scenes. This is right as we're leaving. My favorite part. No, I actually like coming
Oh, do
to
you?
the show.
That's what I thought.
See, with these sick people, this is what happens when you don't have sex. You think of these crazy, horny things. There's Happy in here. Let's go in and bother Happy.
Happy was
Here's
at that
Happy.
point, he
Wanna
worked, used to be Howie Carr's producer, and they worked with me, with Michael Graham. And I worked closely with Joe. We all liked each other. Whenever we did things like we did a Christmas special, and Joe played the part of the mafia guy, of course, and all sorts of stuff. And I was responsible for putting that together. And always checking on you. Always, he was a great guy to party with. He was incredible. He owned East Boston. When we went into what's the East Boston place? East Boston place that only has lamb.
The chat will know.
Yeah, I'll catch crap for this. We would go into that place where I've never eaten, actually. You go into other places. Everybody knew him. I've been out with him in the North End. Everybody knew him. He'd take care of people. He'd tip people big. He'd razz you and give you all sorts of like grief. I went out with him one time where he claimed we went out to a bar because he was a tripe guy, so he and I would eat tripe. We went out to a bar in Medford, and the drinks were flying with Joe. It's going to be a lot of food, and it's going to be a lot of drinks, and they keep coming. And he was dancing up there with all sorts of people, and needless to say, I was somewhat legless before the end of the evening. And he always told me that I was dancing.
Centarpios?
Yes, Centarpios, yeah. And then he said, of
Thank
course,
you, Mark.
he goes on the air, of
Tommy.
course, to say, and Shattuck's there, and he's dancing with these trannies, and he was loving it. Shattuck, how come you like those trannies so much? And I'm sure that's not true, but he was never not going to say it. He was always going to say it. He's also the same guy who, and he knew Alice, and like Alice said, he was at our wedding, which made it the loudest wedding in Boston Harbor that I've ever seen. But I remember when I was dating Alice, it quickly flew through the station that I was dating. Michael Graham claimed that she was 15, but I was dating a younger, beautiful woman. And then after our wedding,
That's not true. I was even able to drink at the time.
right. And after our wedding, and 9 months after our honeymoon, Alice was pregnant with our first child, and Ligotti heard that she was pregnant and called me up and said, Shattuck, what'd you do? What'd you do? And went after me because he felt that anyway, he was a fun as hell guy. He was great at the wedding. He was great everywhere. One of my fondest memories of Joe Ligotti is, and he's one of these guys who checks in on everybody. He calls everybody 1,000 times. I remember being when we were in Melrose watching my kid on the swing, and me and Ligotti are on the phone talking about what we're going to do, what he's up to. And he's always checking up on people. He's one of those guys who's got it in his, one of those like old souls who makes sure like you're doing all right. I was just seeing that he when I got this job at TKK, he actually not TKK, WTIC, that Ligotti had messaged me actually, and in like typical Joe form, and said, okay, this is 2021. So after I got the TKK gig, he says, my friend,
TIC.
Yeah. My friend, I saw your post on Facebook. Congratulations to you in filling Rush Limbaugh's slot. Wow. Should be so proud of yourself. I'm so glad that a guy from Boston got that slot. I applied also, so I'm happy that slot will be going to a wonderful guy and friend. Hope you and your family are well. Your loyal friend, Joe Ligotti. And he was loyal. Every single way. Always just like like that was everything. Selfless all the time. Even though anytime he introed me to somebody else, he told them that I liked transvestites, which is not true. But a time that I remember, and if you guys love Joe or remember Joe, that we had a great time it was toward near the end of both of our careers on TKK on Boston, and Joe was. We were waiting, I think, for you, Alice, to pick us up or to pick me up. Joe was waiting also for a ride or was going to be on the air. For some reason, we were down where our cubicles were, like the tacos would hang out with their producers, and it was dark. There was nobody in the station. It was late at night. It was dark. I had to wait for a ride. I think it was from you. And Joe was in there waiting for something. He couldn't leave for something, whatever. He had, of course, a huge Cadillac, which is... But as we're waiting there, we're just shooting the breeze about this, that. He always loved talking about his kids, his son and his daughter, and his wife, and very much his mother, who I think had recently passed, which is huge. You know, with Italian guys, that's a sacred matter. Oh, yeah, and he was convinced that he had seen her ghost, had, like, talked to her. But anyway, so we're waiting there. We both have time to kill. And I remember that Michael Graham, who's got his desk near us, keeps a bottle of Irish whiskey down there. Mm-hmm. So I said, Joe, Graham's whiskey is right there. And we whacked out Michael Graham's Jameson whiskey and just had a blast talking for like an hour or 2 hours, whatever it was. At one point, Ligotti is telling me, he carries a gun. So he's got his gun, and he's telling me that so he said, we should go out back and shoot the gun. And I'm like, I'm not going out back and shoot the gun. He said, Shattuck, you need to stop being such a pussy all the time. We could take it out of there. I could shoot that cubicle right there. You want me to? You want me to? And I'm like, Joe, no, I don't want you to. I don't want you to. And he's like it was just such a fun time. We did not end up shooting anything at all. But he's just a great guy, and it was a great friend. And R.I.P. to Joe Ligotti. And they it was a good time, man. All you had to do, if it was one of those guys where, okay, guys, what do we want to do? Just get Ligotti there, because he's going to make it interesting and fun. And it's going to turn into a bachelor party immediately. They sent them down. They sent those guys down, Joe and Huggy, down to New York to cover I think the Republican convention. I don't know why they sent them down there, but they did. And it turned out to be essentially Joe Ligotti up for 48 hours, having a great time, and he almost killed Huggy. Huggy's body was not able to sustain all of the fun that Joe Ligotti was having. And I could hear them on the show, like absolutely hanging. He was just a great guy. Just a great guy. So that's Joe Ligotti.
Yeah, man, what a loss. Yeah,
it's what loss, and it's one of those things where, you know, he was at our wedding, and like we had a magical wedding, and it turned out to be a magical wedding. You know, and a lot of big personalities there, and like just hanging out with him, and like if you guys don't know Dave Edelman can seem like possibly he might be a prick. He's also a great kid.
Trisha's calling you out for saying that Graham's whiskey was Jameson's, and I don't believe that either. I think it's like Glenfiddich or something.
No. His whiskey is
something
it's not
fancy.
Jameson.
Like it's some silly name.
He'd get mad about this.
Yeah, he would be mad that you called it Jameson.
He got the Protestant whiskey.
Yeah.
He got
It's like some.
No, yeah, Irish whiskey. It's the other ones that's not Jameson's. He would kill me for that.
Yeah, it's not that. But Trish is right. Bushmills, someone says?
Bushmills, that's right. That's right.
Charlie says it.
That's right.
Bushmills, thank you.
So
No, good point. That pinged in my brain when you said it too, but I didn't interrupt you because
that was a huge thing with him. The Bushmills. But we had a lot of fun. Even when I went to TKK, we took a ride down, a bus ride down to Fox or Mohegan Sun. With a couple comedians and Ligotti in the bus, and it was, you can't put Joe Ligotti in a bus with 30 people without it just being completely the Joe Ligotti show the whole way down. And he did. A casino is very seamless to him, so it's great. Sorry, R.I.P. to his family. It's a terrible loss. Just a freaking fun guy, total character, and yeah, definitely he was doing like the Italian thing, but that was really actually also him. Mm-hmm. And he checked in on people, and he was just a great guy. So there we go. R.I.P. All right, Alice. What'd you do, Israel? What'd you do? So the Israelis, How freaking great are they, man? The Israel just beat the tar out of Iran. Iran is now shooting a bunch of missiles at Tel Aviv. All this covert ops. I have a little bit. I played some of this on the Shattuck show.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's amazing. You hear the details of what went down and like what went into it. Here's a little bit of it on CNN. This is Brett McGurk.
Military, General Bagheri, the head of their missile and drone program, General Hajizadeh, the head of their National Security Council, Ali Shamkhani, former head but really still acted in that role, and the head of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Hussein Salami, who organizes all the proxy groups across the Middle East, Hezbollah, Hamas, and others through the Quds Force. So incredible. Second point, this shows just total intelligence dominance and penetration by Israel into Iran. And that really limits what Iran can do in response here. The people who would have met this morning to figure out how to respond are all dead. And there will be no surprise. Israel will know clearly exactly what Iran is going to do. I think they'll be ready for it. There will be a response, but the ability of the Iranians to organize a coordinated response is significantly degraded. I think those saying this is going to lead to an uncontrollable Middle East war, I think that's really overheated because Iran has just been significantly degraded here, and Israel clearly knows what's coming. Third point, importantly, why is this happening? I have to say, I lived through this. October 7th and the Hamas attack into Israel changed the strategic equation in the Middle East. Iran made a fateful decision after that to join in the attack against Israel, lighting up Hezbollah, the Houthis, all the proxies in Syria and Iraq to attack Israel, and twice launching massive attacks from Iran into Israel. And Israel made clear after October 7th, it will no longer ever allow threats to fester. That's really what this is all about. And what happened in the last 10 days is Iran significantly ramped up its nuclear program. The IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, found just flagrant violations by Iran in meeting its obligations. And
so what you got now is this incredible, brilliant attack. The Israelis built a drone factory in Iran, and it managed to fly the drones out of the home state, out of Iran, and hit targets. They targeted a bunch of military, a bunch of leaders there, and whacked them out. It was a brilliant, incredible attack on Iran. I love this. I think this had to be done. You need a few more days of this stuff. You need to chop Iran down. You need to chop these people down. If they want to whack out the mullahs, I'm fine with that too.
Well, right. Israel has learned the lesson that, like, the United States learned in World War II, and everybody, like,
or did we learn it though?
Or I guess we didn't. I guess
we didn't retain that knowledge.
Right, but that when you have bad guys who want to kill people and who are evil, the way to make them stop is to kill the bad guys.
Yes.
Like that. It's really actually that simple. And then you kill the bad guys, and then, like, you can build a better country after that, like in Germany or in Japan. But you have to kill the bad guys first. You can't just, like, you know, block all their missile attacks and hope that they stop someday, because they just friggin' don't. And I mean, it is definitely like a positive, honestly, for the world.
Absolutely. It also was accompanied by a cyber attack that disabled key Iranian defense systems, including radar communications, making them blind, deaf, and dumb. Israeli radars were offline until morning. They messed up their. It's funny, they messed up all their WhatsApp stuff and all those other things like that, which means that Iran's like only, you know, they had done that previously to Hezbollah, so that's why Hezbollah got the pagers. But the pagers are full of TNT, so it's a good hit. Who knows what's going to happen now? I think Iran has been, they've decimated Iran and its clients, and I want them to continue. This has been a state that's been a malevolent presence, and I'm talking about the government, the radicals, the military. Not talking about the people. I get the feeling the people would be fine if they suddenly found that the Wicked Witch of the East was dead. I think they'd dance in the streets. And
like they used to before.
Right, like they used to before. Exactly, when literally dancing on the streets was legal and wouldn't get you caned or forcibly raped, which is the going punishment for women who get out of line there. I have a bunch of people talking to me.
I mean, and it's fascinating because the people who like hate Israel, some of them as their day job pretty much on Twitter as like influencers. It's really interesting to me because it's like they have to graduate to bigger and bigger levels of total derangement just to like keep the grift going. And it's right and left. There's some of these people who just like hate Israel and everything they do. Do you remember who Rebecca Jones is? She's a quote scientist who ran a website that just tallied up COVID deaths in Florida, and then like DeSantis fired her because she was screwing with the dashboard, and then she got in a bunch more trouble because after she was fired by the government, she like illegally went back into the systems and like messaged everybody that Ron DeSantis was a fascist and stuff, and like all kinds of things. Her son threatened to shoot up a school, and she claimed that Ron DeSantis was having him arrested as political retribution. She's an insane person, and she had like huge magazine profiles and because she was like a scientist that evil DeSantis was persecuting because she was telling the truth about COVID. Right. They had this whole narrative. I mean, because the left has no vetting mechanisms on any of their information. So if anybody opposes evil Republicans, then they automatically get the superhero treatment by the left. So anyway, then she ran for Congress. She's a total joke, but she's on Blue Sky posting away. You'll never believe what she and other random quote, definitely not anti-Semites, only anti-Zionists, what they've decided that they've been taught all the wrong history about and what they're actually for now after all this time. Do you want to guess?
Yes. No, go ahead.
The 1972 Munich massacre. They've decided they're for that they were taught false history about it. This is her posting. I didn't know that the people who took hostages at the Munich Olympics were Palestinian refugees whose homes had been stolen from them by Israelis. They were refugees forced into Lebanon, Syria, Jordan. I didn't know they were trying to free Palestinian political prisoners being illegally held by Israel. I didn't know that the leader was Jewish. That's not the story we were told.
Amazing.
So, I mean, obviously, you can go look this up yourself if you want to know the history of the Munich massacre, but the total freaking insanity of deciding that you're just for murdering Jews in any part of the world because Palestinian refugees or something is so insane.
Well, right. And there is a class of people the Obama people, the Obama bros, the West Wing people like Ben Rhodes.
So he's been all posting today.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. None of this had to happen. None of this had to happen. He was going to be the one who could do the outreach to the Iranians, who, by the way, when they did the Iran deal with the Iranians, which gave them a whole influx full of cash, which allowed them to make more trouble for the world and do October 7th as well. He's the one, him and Obama all said, you know what? Yeah, these guys are radical Islamic Shiite madmen, but we're educated enough, intelligent enough to be the ones they'll work with. They did the Iran deal. Iran cheated immediately.
Of course.
Immediately blew it away. But whenever we talk to, and Ben Rhodes is all mad now, these American intellectuals see that there is a unique nobility in blaming the Jews, the people who are acting civil in the area, having a civilization. Like there's a unique nobility in criticizing them because after all, they have it better and whatever. But that brings us to if we're going to talk about Ben Rhodes, we have to talk about the Jonah Goldberg thing on Ben Rhodes. This is a piece about Ben Rhodes where Jonah Goldberg is quoting somebody who wrote something about Ben Rhodes. This is all you have to know about this guy. It was after midnight, but Mr. Rhodes, a deputy national security advisor and the writer of many of the president's foreign policy speeches, was up reading To Kill a Mockingbird to his 4-week-old daughter. The two men poured two single malt Scotch whiskeys and, with the baby resting quietly, began triage on Mr. Keenan's prose. By 5 a.m., a more succinct draft was on its way to the president. How hardo freaking pretense, midwit, pseudo-intellectual is that? to reading To Kill a Mockingbird to his 4-week-old
and it's
daughter.
ironic too. And this reminds me, I know you want to do Ben Rhodes because it's so friggin' ridiculous that he would write that and all that stuff. But this puts me on a tangent now because you know why To Kill a Mockingbird has been in the news recently?
Because it's white savior or something.
Well, just recently, the right are the people who ban books, you know.
Yes,
They're big
yes.
into banning books, obviously. In California, a leftist school district just fired a teacher for reading To Kill a Mockingbird to the class. Fired. Matthew Mastronardi, a teacher in West Valley 363, or no, sorry, not California, Washington. I lied. It's still liberal. Has been terminated after he was recorded reading a passage from To Kill a Mockingbird. A book is now refusing to renew his contract as a teacher. Students in the community have started a petition demanding he be reinstated. And he's a Spanish teacher in Spokane who lost his job after reading from To Kill a Mockingbird. Here's what happened. So basically, he was fired for reading this book.
Right.
Long story short. And it's interesting because the left, of course, will be the first to tell you that they don't ban books and it's freedom. And even if you find it offensive and all this stuff and like you have no right to ban books and who are the Nazis ban books. And then in Connecticut, they're coming out with their book ban law. Where's William Tong coming out and defending this Washington teacher? Where I thought he was going to go to the mat for the rights to free speech and education. No? Nothing?
I thought so too. It's been a bad day for the left, though, today, Alice, because the whole Padilla thing has been overwritten now with Israel, the colonizer attacking poor Iran, who was just this close to reforming because Ben Rhodes and the Biden administration was going to reach out to them. I love it. And they, like, by the way, Israelis like had so many assets in high-ranking positions. It's amazing. The guy that they had in Iran to make sure that the Mossad hadn't infiltrated, the high-ranking colonel, whatever, was himself an Israeli asset.
Mm.
It's like there's so much good about...
Israel's good at this, mostly.
Yes. There's so much good at the story. I just, I love it. I love it. I think it's...
I'm glad it warms the cockles of your heart.
And I know that people are saying, and friends of ours are saying as well, like, you're a fan of foreign wars. It's like, shut up, man. Just because Tucker says it word for word doesn't mean you have to repeat it. It's not foreign wars. We want to make sure that their war hobby, Iran's, which is killing American troops, killing American citizens, and terrorism, comes to an end. Oh, and also the possibility that they nuke anybody in the Middle East.
Americans are going to die because of this. Our troops are going to die on American bases in the Middle East because Israel did this, basically.
Our troops and our civilians are going to die anyway because of these Iranians. Remember, they were happy to give plaudits and pats in the back and kill Americans for decades and then be part of, like it said right there, jumping on with October 7th. Iran, the tyrannical regime in Iran needs to be destroyed and murdered. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. You can't have it. You can't just have wars tend to find you. George W. Bush and his foreign wars. Well, that's fine because the terrorists will come over here. So if you can snuff them out over there, I'm all for it. I have got zero problem with it whatsoever. It's a good day for Israel. And it's a bad day for bad people. And by the way, Israel destroyed a whole bunch of military targets last night, and today the Iranians are shooting missiles into population centers in Tel Aviv. There's a huge double standard here, and I'm done with it.
Well, a lot of the world considers it to be okay that places shoot things at Israel all the time because Israel blocks them.
Right.
So Israel doesn't let people die. It's like, I mean, but that's how the left feels. Unless you actually get killed, you can't count as a victim.
Yeah, no,
The
you're
guy
right.
can come into your house and point a gun at you, but if you shoot him, you're the perpetrator.
Yes.
You know, like, it doesn't matter to them. It's only the It's only the ultimate loser who they feel bad for.
We've got
Ever.
a lot of chats. Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
Okay. I just want to mention before that something that me and Alice had done.
Wednesday.
We went for our daughter is attending Fauntleroy Academy, which is a big Shishi academy starting next year. And so we're pleased about that. They've got financing for people like us. Amazingly, not really probably meant for people like us, but somehow Alice and I, considering the towns we came from, just managed to underachieve in the right way to put us as a loophole. It's a glitch. My daughter has a glitch financing situation. So she's going to this place. And so we went to a fancy hotel in Boston for a reception, a beautiful, gorgeous place. And I got my problems with the event. All these people, including students, gathered around, or alumni gathered around the bar and blocked off the bar, so that I was an hour and a half in traffic, and then got there, and for the 45 minutes of open bar, couldn't get to the bar. And so I was not pleased by that. That is not good. It's not the school's fault. That's the caterer's fault. But somebody should please know. If there's all these high achieving people in there, somebody know. Okay, that's fine. So, I am pleased with, and it's funny. They talked about like they really they cherish diversity at Fauntleroy Academy, and
Which fortunately we've managed to fall under.
well, right. So it's interesting because certainly it was diverse, but also it's good if the family is worth about $1 billion. So I'm saying it's diverse in a lot of ways, a lot of different looking people there, but it's not really diverse all that much in having a family private plane, it's,
Well,
which is fine.
let's just say they do have incredibly generous ways to pay for the school. However, fewer than half the students take advantage of those there.
Right.
So more than half the people there can afford to pay many tens of thousands of dollars a
But
year.
the highlight was,
So,
and this is this set of people I like, because I went and I was not going to be, I was in survival mode. So there's a speech, and that goes to Q&A, and that's my cue to leave, go back to the bar area. I've been a function room, a bartender before. I know the whole thing where you cut off bar service during the speech. I'm like, I'm going there. My guy's going to be open, and I'm going to see him. And so we got it done, got over there, found a place to be. And wouldn't you know, the wasps come streaming in. And this is what I was looking for.
Tommy in the chat suggests you call it Muffy High School.
That would work too. But it is.
And Julian Phil say the next Yacht Bunny.
Yeah, there are going to be
She's in
some
training.
Oh, but let me tell you. This couple came to us. He does scull, rowing.
He does sculling, yeah.
Sculling. He's probably in his 70s. The woman before lives in Martha's Vineyard. What did the sculling guy's wife do?
Yeah, somebody else lived in Brookline. I don't know what the wife did.
Anyway, they were if you've watched 6 Degrees of Separation, you need to watch that, Alice.
Okay.
The movie. Those people. There is great wasp energy happening right here, right there. These people I love because these were the Morses. And not MRSE, which is
the expected way.
The expected wasp way. That is a pure right up wooden boat wasp last name, MRSE. This was MORSS. A nice fuck you extra Saxon S in the name. Oh, and we got to sit in kibitz with the Morses, and I am going to rejoin, Alice, the Cabots and the Lodges. Because
Sally's going to.
No, yeah, but if
you're going to ride her coattails.
All of these events, Alice, are all open bar and free food.
Dr. Cheswick asks where you're summering this year.
That's right. I'm going to summer. I am going full Nantucket pants, the Izod, the jacket thing.
You're gonna have a lot of time to lounge around town.
Yes, I'm gonna follow. And they have these events like frequently.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the Shattocks and the Morses all day long, baby. Oh, so that's good. The bar situation sucked. Let's get to the chat. That is like that's licking the plate with waspiness. Morse, MORSS. Just in case you didn't notice the first ask, here's another one. Jesus,
I liked them.
I like them too. Believe me. Alice, I am going to be joining the swells. They're never going to know that. Well, they may know. There is a certain old disheveled kind of wasp too that's looks like a kind of mess, hobbly around, and I'm just a fat version of that.
The rumpled old gents were all over that place.
Fantastic! All the people with like dusty, dandruffy coats and stuff. Perfect. I have arrived. Something funny?
Why don't you thank Sally for studying hard for the SSAT?
What about SSHATTUCK?
Hey, Billy from Manchester.
Hey, Billy.
So we got to figure out what's happening with all these podcasts. You know, I had my third shot of Shattuck, and I'm ready to say no mas anymore to the
What?
bartender.
No,
but,
what?
I mean, what are we doing? Is this going to
Wait
be
a second. Did you say bartender? Hold on.
Shattuck? And I'm ready to say no mas anymore to the bartender. But
Because it's
I
a
mean,
shot.
what are we doing?
Shattuck.
Is
Oh, I see. Oh, that's good, Billy.
this going to become more Facebook posts and Connecticut, featured things, or are we going to talk about the fact that, Israel attacked Iran?
Yep.
I mean, what are we doing? Car seats? Car seats? We're talking
That was
about
a
car
burn barrel.
seats?
That was the burn barrel. On
That
the
was a burn barrel. On the burn barrel, you have to put up with me and my topics.
right. You were
So I'm sorry. That's what you get.
on the Shot of Shattuck show.
You get to put up with Tom and his topics.
Exactly.
Which are also insane, but in different
No,
ways.
that is Israel attacking Iran. Yes, and that's need to dig no further than that.
Okay, Albie, you say she is 55 inches tall. Let's
This is Tommy, New Hampshire, by the way.
figure out how many feet that is.
I'm not 55 inches tall.
Was he talking about you, or we were measuring somebody yesterday? Who were we talking about yesterday?
I don't know what we're talking about.
Who was it?
55 inches tall.
Oh, it's the fat girl with the blonde hair, the pop star.
No, we weren't talking about that on the show. We just talked about that separately. Sabrina Carpenter?
No, we talked about it in the show, Alice.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure we just talked about that offline.
We did?
I think so.
Oh.
Let's figure out how many feet that is. Okay, the 6 times 14 minus 9 times 3. No, Albie, I think you're wrong. She's 6'6".
Wow. But who were we talking
What
about?
are we talking about?
Who was the person we were talking? It's got to be the Sabrina Carpenter. It must have been.
No, she's 4 feet tall. Or maybe 5 feet tall. I forget. She's
I did
5
like
feet
the
tall. Sorry, I lied.
the adding machine noises, though,
that
Tommy.
was good, but yeah, no, sorry, I've lost what we were talking about.
Hi, Steve from
no,
Merrimack.
I know what he's talking
Yes.
about. The car seats.
Oh, yes, that's right. The kids in the car seats. That's right. Okay.
I was away, and I got all caught up with the burn barrel and
Yep.
with the shot of Shattuck.
Shut
And I do have to say, I guess I misunderstood the purpose of the shot of Shattuck when
Yes.
it was you and Alice were first discussing it on that burn barrel episode.
Yes.
Mhm.
So I imagined it to be like the Morning Wire from the Daily Wire,
Yes.
which is about a 15 or 20 minute sort of straight ahead investigation discussion of the news of the day.
That's what it
Right.
would be if
And-
it was a shot of Alice Shattuck.
Right.
Heartbreaking events. I in the couple of years I've been listening to that, I don't ever recall any of the hosts or correspondents going into depth about how they unsuccessfully tried to bang some chick in high school. So I guess I just wasn't on the same page with you. And I appear to have been sadly mistaken. Thank you.
I don't recall mentioning that. I don't recall mentioning that.
It's a different take on a daily news show.
Who did I try to bang in high school? Jesus, I don't think I got
Breaking news.
I don't think I got.
Tom Shattuck didn't bang a girl in 1989.
I don't think I got close enough with Max Sweden Fighter to the vent to even try to release my photon torpedoes. And I never got I was I was killed on an Alderon or something. There was no way. Yeah. I don't recall saying that, but no, I can't do a news rundown show like a utility show. What am I gonna read stuff all day? God, no.
It's literally a shot of Shattuck.
Right. Well, it's not literally.
Right, it's figuratively, literally a shot of Shattuck.
Tom, it's Tony D'Angelo wishing you every
Hey,
success in your new endeavor. Hope all is well.
Thank you, Tony.
And God bless. Keep up the good fight.
Thank you so
Take
much.
care. Bye now.
Appreciate that, Tony. Look, it's nice to have somebody reach out, else.
That is great.
Oh,
That's really nice. Somebody congratulated me last night at Sally's dance
Oh yeah.
about how they saw, because they saw on the news that you got a new gig. Because the news
As the
story
host of the
says,
Shot of Shattuck show.
The news story says Tom Shattuck launches new podcast, Shot of Shattuck show, after exiting WTIC.
Yeah.
Which is a really fancy way.
Got fired. Mostly I got shit canned, and I'm not allowed back into the radio station. Nothing that I have works anymore. I don't have email. I don't have anything. I get to
Did
send
you
it-
mail back your laptop yet?
I didn't, but it's in the box. It's funny because the laptop that I have as a call screener, they told me they couldn't FedEx it to me because it was too expensive. This is like last year.
Well, yeah, but then you expensed the cost of driving to go
So I
pick it
drove
up.
down to Boston to the Odyssey stations, the cluster down there, and had to pick it up.
Right.
But now,
And then you submitted the mileage to
right,
them, which
but-
probably cost as much as the FedEx would have cost
exactly.
them.
But now they can FedEx, if it's going back to them, they can afford FedEx.
The
now.
FedEx works for that?
By the way, Steve from Merrimack's Shot of Shattuck show comment also is titled "Shot of Bullshit."
Taking shots at Shot of Shattuck.
No kidding. All right, ready?
Ready.
Thank you, Tony, by the way. Appreciate that. I've also been reached out to... forget it. Something funny?
Charlie in the chat says it's an extension of Tom's therapy.
Hi, this is Billy from Billiesburg.
Hey, Billy.
in Billy Shire. I'm trying to leave a message. Is this going to Tom? Tom, are you there?
Yes,
I
sir.
can't hear you.
Is this an
Alice?
attack on Tom from Thomaston? Because he's saying he's Billy from Billiesburg.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I guess it is.
Tom from Thomaston is a nice guy.
He's a nice fella. And
We like him.
yes, and he's...
And we will reach out to him and explain to him how to get a podcast.
Yeah, I have been explaining this. Yes, I will.
Are you there? What is going on? I'm
Tom, they're not all a-holes. You know, this is Billy. He's Steve's brother. He lives somewhere around here. He formulates ways to hurt my feelings for most of the day.
Mark in
Fine.
the chat says your show should be called Shattuck Unshackled.
We
That
like
can be another podcast you can come
we
out
like
with.
the idea of it's saying shh. Shattuck show. You know? Right, I'll say it.
Shot of Shattuck show.
Nothing has that many
The
shh.
chat's also commenting on the use of the word exiting. Julie and
Yeah.
Phil say seeking other opportunities. Tommy says taking a step back.
Yeah.
Julie and Phil decided to spend more time with family. Tommy pursuing other interests. Yeah.
Are you there?
Goodness,
What is
Billy.
going on? I'm trying to leave a message on the telephone. Are you there?
Dare he? Dare he?
Hi, Steve from Merrimack.
Hey, Steve.
Regarding the Jose Padilla situation and his attack on Christy Nome, I can't stand this guy.
Yeah, I know.
Such a jerk. Hakeem Jeffries would have done himself a world of good. Of course, Hakeem has to do what Hakeem does, but wouldn't he have done himself some good if he had just said, yeah, he shouldn't have done that. I agree with his sentiments, but he really shouldn't have burst in there.
Yeah.
Now he's trying to make it seem like, crystal knock against this guy. But, the other thing, too, is can you imagine? He's outside making that statement, and he's going, we have questions that we need answered, and no one's listening to us, and the secretary won't give us the time of day. Can you imagine what these questions are? I guarantee you the questions are, we need to know where the raids are happening,
Yeah.
what time, what neighborhoods, et cetera, et cetera. If I were Christy Nome, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here, you nincompoop.
Yeah, and
Oh, I hate these people.
yeah,
Thank you.
and if you listen to Chris Murphy and Adam Schiff, and I won't play it because I played it on Shattuck shows, as a matter of fact. I mean, it's all about the authoritarians. That freedom has been lost. They're on the march. This is 1930. It's the same old thing, same old thing. It's so freaking tired. Like I mean, I understand that these are scare tactics and it makes it fun. And DC's got to be a fun place, and there's all sorts of hookers and drugs probably. But what a boring way to
Well,
live.
and we didn't get into this, but I told you this morning when we were like listening to this stuff. It's really funny to me how the left like always walks into every trap Trump sets without fail. They're like Wile E. Coyote every time. They can't stop themselves from like doing the thing. It's incredible. Like, so the Trump administration or whoever came out with some statement that was like, oh, he didn't identify himself as a senator. And then all the left goes like, he was clearly caught saying he was a senator when he was arrested and all this. Like, as though that matters. You're not allowed to friggin' interrupt events and yell at people and like rush the stage at press conferences when you're a senator. Like, that doesn't make anything better. But because the Trump administration said he didn't identify himself as a senator, they immediately have to friggin' go to contradict that, which just doesn't do anything to make their point. It's just they all just rush to do it.
No, it's just a thug move, and that's what it is. I mean, he just wanted to be arrested, and
He
he got what
clearly
he wanted.
said he was a senator.
But the whole thing is funny. Is like they're saying that too, and he wanted to be arrested. So why are you saying this? He's happy. He's on now doing. But the
well, right, and you're not
the Jews
allowed.
ruined it for him, though. So too bad. He can rail about that.
Hey Tom, I was wondering
Hey.
if you were going to have the Burger King airplane guy on your new show.
Do I know that?
I don't know if I know about it.
That paper Burger King crowd. I don't know if you've seen that video. Oh my god!
No, Burger King airplane. Airplane. There we go.
Nigger! Stop!
What was that? The N word?
Get out of my seat, please! We will take care of
I have no idea what the story is.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think I'm going to have him. He said dinner or something worse. We got enough problems. All right, let me see here. Okay. Where am I going here? There it is. All right, here we go.
Hi, Steve from Merrimack. Excellent episode of the Shot of Shattuck today. I take back everything I said.
Thank you, Steve. Although you can use this three shoes.
Shot a shack show.
Yeah, is that alliteration, Alice, or no? Because
Yes.
it's got it's a what's it called when you have two letters that go together making a noise? Shh.
It's a phoneme. I don't know. I mean,
A phoneme?
Well, I think. Are you thinking of like a diphthong or something?
Holy God!
But that's not what
There's
that
something
is.
clanking around in my memory from 1981. Diphthong. Oh.
It's not sexual.
Well, Okay, so isn't that's not alliteration?
It is alliteration.
Yeah, but
It's the repetition of a starting sound. It doesn't have to be one letter.
It doesn't.
No.
Okay.
It's the sound.
What are two letters called? Conjunction?
No.
Two letters are called a
digraph, the internet says.
digraph. Duh. That's why I did it. You've always known I've been a digraph guy and a diphthong guy.
About the previous episode. Thank you. But I love the segment where you're playing Ben Rhodes just whining and bloviating on Nicole Wallace's show.
Yeah.
And all I could think of the whole time was, Nicole, don't you realize that Ben Rhodes thinks you're an idiot?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, Ben Rhodes thinks every member of the media is some imbecile that he can bend to his will. Why would anybody have him on the show? It's not like this guy's bringing in any viewers. Oh,
No.
it's so satisfying watching these guys flail. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. I totally agree. Yeah, they're just so freaking gross. It's the Obama boys themselves are just the worst.
Well, and the Biden administration. Jake Sullivan having the magazine edit his piece after October 7th when he said the Middle East was like the safest and most peaceful. Right?
They're so craven. They're disgusting. Not like the Morses in the Shattocks, Alice. These people are low, lacking ethics, and craven people. I have class and couth.
Mm-hmm.
That's alliteration.
Now you do.
That's alliteration.
Sally
class
brought you into the
and
world.
Couth.
Mm-hmm.
And gout. Those three things. Thank you guys, by the way, for this great week. I'll let you say it. Thanks for making the Shattuck show happen.
You'll let me say it.
Okay,
And then you talk. Thanks for making the Shattuck show great. As our mortgage company says every time I call up and pay them, they say, thank you for being the best part of our company. Thank you for being the best part of the Shattuck show, of the Burn Barrel, of the All You Can Eat podcast, of all the things. We appreciate you guys. Patreon.com/Burn Barrel, burnbarrelpodcast.com.
C'est la vie.